Back again with another review here, and this is for Bobby Reynolds. He wanted me to talk about and review the Banana Splits movie, which I may have heard of Banana Splits, but I don't know much about that. I will say this movie was okay, kind of like, it's a background movie. It was an okay watch, and there's some positive stuff here that I'll talk about. But the story, the plot, you have this television series, The Banana Splits, and this family attends a live taping of the show. It's a kids show, and soon enough, they are forced to survive as these characters go haywire, and they start a killing spree. And that's the gist of the plot here. Now, you have these characters that are introduced in the beginning of the movie, and I can't remember the characters' names, but they're all part of this show. And the family, again, they go to this live taping of the show. And I will say right off the bat, I didn't really care for these characters that much. The little kid who's a fan of the show, I didn't really care for him. The stepfather in the movie is a dick, and you find out later that he's cheating on his wife and other stuff going on there. You got the other son who's a kind of a mischief, but really the only character that is normal is the mom here. But throughout the movie, there's not really one character that I cared about. And that to me is kind of a big drawback. And I know what people might say, well, what do you expect out of this type of movie? Because there is some interesting kills in the film from the characters. You get some very good practical gore. Some moments of practical kills. For example, one character that is part of the show, this character is Stevie. He gets like a lollipop shoved down his throat, and the stick is like bulging out of his throat. Like it's not punctured through, but you could see, his neck, swelling up, from the stick of the lollipop. It's kind of created a bulge here. That was a good practical effect. There's some good practical gore. Like I said, you got one scene where a guy is put into a box, like the old magician, trick of cutting someone in half. And the guy got cut in half, and you see practical, guts fall out. So again, you get some good moments like that. One guy is set on fire, like his face. And that's another character that I could not stand in the movie. You have this father that is with his daughter at the show, and his father so badly wants his daughter to, meet the producers, to become a star, and but he's set on fire with in the face. Which there's some bad CGI there, but there's a little hint of practical in that scene. But even before that, you figure out that these characters that are part of the show they're in these costumes, but they're robots. They are programmed by this guy who is backstage, and again, they start to go haywire. And I like the idea of that. And again, this is coming from somebody that I don't know much about Banana Splits. Really, what reminded me of this movie, which I thought did it better, is Willy's Wonderland. I thought that did a little bit better. I think, even though Nicolas Cage doesn't have any dialogue, but to me, it came off a bit better. It had a better pacing. We're here, with this movie here, the pacing, you really feel the pacing throughout the movie. Like it's an hour and a half, but it moves at such a dull pace that yeah, I mean, you get like a good kill here and there, but you're kind of waiting for that to happen. You know, you're waiting for something to happen as we, chug along here in this hour and a half movie. You know, where in Willy's Wonderland, even though Nicolas Cage, again, has no dialogue, but you're engaged by, what he's doing next. Being this janitor that has to clean up this amusement park, or, whatever it was. That, to me, I think did a little bit better, direction, a little better colors, what have you. But so, and I mean, I did write some stuff down here. And again, you got some irritating characters in here, like you got this one guy that is in the taping of the show, and he's like, because they have to give up their phones. He's like, I don't want to give up my phones. I'm live streaming for my followers. They want to see me be in the show, and that I want to live stream that I'm at the taping of the show. So you got characters like that in the movie. Well, yeah, he's the only character that does that, but it's just the fact of, for me, there's no characters here that are really likable or that I can root for, aside from the mom. And so I think for me, if there's any positives with this movie, I would say the moments of practical gore and blood, when some people are killed. Again, I talked about it earlier. You have one guy with the lollipop that is shoved down his throat and it's bulging out of his neck. You got one guy that, is burned in the face. One lady is hit in the face with a hammer because later on they make a couple of people that they have maimed, run a little course in the show. And a lady's trying to climb out of the ball pit and she gets hit in the face with a hammer. And that was a good effect. That was a fun moment. But again, you really feel the pacing of this movie. And again, I thought Willy's Wonderland did it better. I didn't really feel the pacing with that movie. Here you feel the pacing with it. I think, and I don't know who directed this movie, but I think a different director would have been better. If it was stronger in its okay, I'm gonna talk right. If it's stronger in its execution, that's what I'm trying to say here. If I can get the words out. Maybe I'm just breaking down like one of the characters in this movie. I'm not a robot. I swear to God. This isn't like Westworld here, even though that's a better movie. I'd rather watch Westworld than this movie. But anyways, yeah, I mean, this movie, I would say at the end of the day, it was just an okay watch. Okay for, some of the kills, the mom character. But again, the pacing, you really feel the pacing. There's you can see that, you can see a lot of good underneath the surface. What I mean is, this should have been a whole lot better. And I'm not saying that I hate this movie, or I'm not saying that. This is not a rant. But this is a film that you could really see the potential. And I think whoever directed this and the way it was made, and it should have been a whole lot more than what it was. And that's kind of what I feel about the Banana Splits movie. It was, I think it, as weird as it sounds, maybe it needed a tighter pace, or better director, better direction, maybe characters that are not really annoying, because you have some of that in this movie. Just, give me some characters that are actually not, that I can root for. And again, I know what kind of film this is, but that doesn't mean that that characters have to be unlikable or annoying or uninteresting. But anyways, thank you, Bobby, for the request here. Again, I just thought it was an okay, what I would describe as a background movie. Like if I'm doing something else and it just happens to be on TV, I would kind of have it on in the background, not really pay attention to it. And again, I think for me, another film that did it better, that is similar, Willy's Wonderland, that to me really was my kind of movie. And again, even though Nicolas Cage has no dialogue, but I think there's a whole lot more there, ingredients that made that a bit better than this one. But again, just an okay film for me, but nothing more. But thank you again, Bobby, for the request. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.